Owen from Cumbria Country Sports takes us on the hunt for big bad rabbits by day and by night.
I just can't see myself going back to glass. I'll probably sell the one that I've got.
Mistake after mistake. Nottinghamshire police issues, revokes, reissues, accidentally revokes, and is now dithering over a shotgun certificate.
A new allegation comes forward, and the new allegation is that I treat patients at home with weapons in my room.
There are just a few days before the end of this month's Fieldsports competitions closes to entries. Christmas could come early, and David is on the Fieldsports Channel News Stump. Welcome to Fieldsports Britain. In the shadow of the Sellafield nuclear storage facility, we're off rabbiting. First by day, and then by night. Owen Runackles is no stranger to the camera, as he has his own successful YouTube channel, Cumbria Country Sports.
It was a nice clean kill shot, so yeah, happy with that one. Clarity through that scope is next to none, like it's good.
There's not a lot he doesn't get stuck into here, from bunnies to foxes to deer to a spot of salmon and trout fishing. More on those another time. Because of his passion for hunting, Pard approached him to test their kit in the UK. It's an opportunity for us to see how Pard's digital optics perform in the field. These fields are right on the coast and home to plenty of rabbits.
Yeah, just a little bit there. I can see the course is literally just there. You see how choppy that course is there. It's not ideal rabbiting conditions, like, but I mean, we'll give it a go. This course holds rabbits really, really well. And you'll see just as we get to here, well, the full fence is pretty much collapsed, to be honest, with the rabbit damage. There you go. See, he's like just undermining that fence post there. All these are snapped. Well, there's just rabbit holes everywhere, man.
We are all starting to realise the huge practicality of using a day-night scope.
Number 2.
Owen will use a short-barrelled 2.2 and Pard combo for both sessions. We're currently basking in glorious Cumbrian sunshine. Later we'll be enduring an uncomfortable evening on farmland in Northumberland. Owen has an Anschutz in 2.2 with a Pard Stalker 4K Pro. As a young guy in his 20s, Owen says he's now such a digital convert, he's unlikely ever to use glass again.
I don't think I'll ever go back, especially for someone that's trying to record themselves and record their own shooting. It's just a bit of a nightmare, especially if you're doing a lot of daytime stuff, you know, with rifles, i.e. going on the rabbits, and then you want to switch to night vision. It's just a bit of a faff with glass. You've either got to put something on the back, like the old, or the new NV007 that I know still a lot of people use and are happy to use, or you've got to put a front attachment on. I've used both and they're not for me. The back, it moves your head position too much, makes it a little bit uncomfortable to use shooting. And the front, if you record and you don't get the crosshairs and stuff, so you're just seeing a picture. It's one of them with a digital day and night vision scope. You've got the best of all worlds. You can switch to night, you can shoot it in the day. And the clarity now on this and other scopes as well is second to none. So I just can't see myself going back to glass. I'll probably sell the one that I've got.
Good size, aren't they? Lovely. Yeah, really clean animals.
Real nice healthy rabbits. A lot of meat on them. Oh, that one's got assist. But yeah, nice chunky rabbits. What do you want?
The last one we'll blame on the wind.
Just over it.
Yeah?
Just over.
David asks about the neat moderator on the 2.2.
So it's a Wildcat Whisper, so it's actually an over barrel mod. So it actually goes over the barrel.
Yeah, keeps it small.
Keeps it small, keeps it nimble, and it actually is really effective. I like Wildcat mods. I've got the Predator 12 on the 243, and that's a big chunky over barrel mod as well, and they do the job absolutely fine. Swing it round. If I need to go on the sticks, just there you go, up and over. It's just a really nice little rabbit and gun. It's absolutely fantastic.
With half a dozen bunnies in daylight, it's time to head off to some of Owen's other permissions on more exposed farmland.
Just get me sticks. We'll go back through this gate, go up this fence line, and there's quite a number of rabbits in this field, so try and shoot them off the fence.
Owen spots and stalks through the sheep and cow fields. He's using the latest Pard Leopard thermal spotter. With growing confidence in the Pard Stalker Pro's internal ballistic calculator, he pushes the ranges even further.
Dead, 117 yards. The ballistic calculator does work.
It's supposed to show surprise.
I've zeroed it at 50 yards. And I've got the ballistics calculator set up as well. So I put my bullet through a chronograph, just tell me how fast it's going through the air. So when I range it, I click it again and it gives me a point of impact anything over 50 yards, which is really handy. I've shot one at 117 yards tonight. And it seems to be working okay. I think that's them all, I think. Just double check. I think it is.
Pretty successful evening then, Owen.
Yeah, it's been good, I would say. How many have we got? Would you say? Maybe a dozen, 15 or something like that. Yeah, it's been good. There's a lot about. I need to get up more. I haven't
Is this the sort of like the embarrassing trick?
Yeah. It's the first sort of proper go I've had with the Pro, and it's 100% improvement on the original Night Stalker 4K. The clarity on it's absolutely brilliant. Part of it even sent me a little TL3 IR torch, and I'm actually really impressed with that. I can see out to 100, 150 yards, no problem with it. So yeah, overall, pretty impressed with the bit of kit, to be honest. Absolutely no problem dropping bunnies at 56. Well, I even shot 117 tonight.
I want to see the clarity though. You keep talking about the clarity.
It is really clear. The magnification starts at 5.5 and it goes up to 22, and even at the top range of the magnification, it really is quite clear. It's certainly some of the best that I've used. Yeah.
It's been a successful couple of outings. Owen realises he needs to be spending a bit more time on these fields. Let's hope his farmers don't watch this or don't have thermal. For more information about the range of Pard night vision and thermal gear, go to pard.com, and if you want to check out what else Owen gets up to, go to Cumbria Country Sports on YouTube. Thank you, Owen. Let us know if you have strong rabbit numbers in your area. Now, someone else who enjoys rabbiting, trying to shut him up is the problem. It's David on the Fieldsports Channel News Stump.
This is Fieldsports Channel News. Farmers across the UK have been gearing up their protests ahead of the budget. After demonstrating on motorway bridges and in town centres, farmers had planned to congregate in Westminster on Wednesday the 26th of November 2025 as Chancellor Rachel Reeves reads out her budget. They are protesting against the government's anti-countryside policies, including a new inheritance tax that will see farms broken up in order to pay it. Speaking to the 2025 CLA conference, new DEFRA Secretary Emma Reynolds pledged a reset in government relations with the farming community. The government consultation is out. The Westminster government has released its consultation on the future of shotguns, which it's indicated it wants to put onto Section 1 certificates, making it more complicated to own a shotgun in the UK. Shooting organisations say this is an essential consultation and every shooter should take part. There's a link below.
Labour's said that it wants to see a reset with the countryside, following the row after the farmers' tax. But this firearms consultation could be seen as yet another attack on the countryside. Of course, we need to see all the details of the consultation first, but people need to be aware this could be a really big threat to shooting.
Airgunning has a worthy returning champion. Disabled shooter Matthew Gleaves is National Bench Rest UK Air Rifle Bench Rest champion for the second time and UK #1, ranked 4th year in a row. This follows the National Championships, the final competition of the season, which took place at Chippenham Rifle and Pistol Club in Wiltshire. Matthew runs the popular Air Ability Facebook group and is a well-known champion of the target airgun community. Devon and online airgun shop Crackshot sponsors Tom Jacobs from Air Ability.
Matthew Gleaves, who runs it, he's very prominent. He shoots from his wheelchair and he's right at the top of the tree. He runs it alongside Tom Jacobs as well, and they're always about education and promotion and going forward.
Deer stalkers support deer stalking. That's the conclusion of research by Bangor University, which has brought out the results of a survey of nearly 4,000 stalkers, farmers and others who live and work in the countryside. Researchers aim to investigate perceptions towards deer and their management in England and Wales. Lethal control was the most supported and most used deer management practice, followed by tree guards and deer fencing. Thanks to Greg Hill for the story. Northern Ireland politician John Blair wants to put a private members' bill to ban fox hunting in front of Stormont. In 2021, the Alliance MLA tried and failed to ban hunting, including trail hunting in Northern Ireland. He granted Fieldsports Channel an interview as part of that. An article in the Unheard News website says that Blair will make his move before Christmas. The red grouse is now of conservation concern, according to DEFRA. The government ignores the success of grouse shoots at producing grouse and instead says the bird may be subject to protection because it's only found in the UK. The good news is that now it will be easier to protect grouse by shooting crows. The move is part of other small changes to the general licences, which start on the 1st of January 2026 and last a year. The Florida bear hunt is back. The US state of Florida is to hand out up to 172 bear tags to hunters in the first state hunt in a decade. A last-minute attempt by antis to block the hunt failed. Bears are increasingly common in Florida. A Fieldsports member out after a white-tailed buck filmed this animal on his hunting area in Florida. The season runs from the 6th to the 28th of December 2025. And finally, an unusual flush in Dorset. Shoot owner Mike Appleby was on a driven day at his honeycomb shoot near Sherborne when one of his pointers, Bella, locked on. Imagine his surprise when Bella flushed a guinea pig. Beta Tori was on hand to catch it, and it's now her son's new pet. You are now up to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stuck in the stories, fishing for facts. Fieldsports Channel members get more. Every week there's Fieldsports Extra, our exclusive show packed with behind-the-scenes clips, interviews and a free prize draw. Plus, membership gives you access to our Fieldsports Advice Bureau for help with shooting and firearms licensing, with our in-house lawyer on your side. And with our insurance, you're covered for £5 million public liability for shooting activities across the UK, as well as legal expenses cover. Join today so we can keep the pressure on and the volume up.
Here's what's in this week's Fieldsports Extra. A well brought up fin, a whole covey of black grouse, and Paul Childerley relives past glories.
What a grouping.
This week's Fieldsports Extra prize draw is for £300 worth of air pistol kit from Rifleman Firearms in Somerset.
So what we've got here, Beretta 629 BB firing air pistol, rifle cleaning kit for air rifles, and a back garden pellet catcher. Also, we've got a 2-person have-a-go voucher for Rifleman Firearms air rifles. So, good luck.
Thanks, Chris. And if you know someone who might benefit from Fieldsports membership, you can give it to them as a gift. follow the link below and click the gift box in the checkout area. Now, a word from Pulsar. Our gun grab stories deal with all sorts of issues: problem ex-partners, illnesses, victims of crime. Well, this one starts with a dispute with a neighbour.
These are the girls. There's a mixture of some commercial, but majority of them are Castle Moritz.
There are many entry points to shooting. Often it's through family or friends. For Sandy, applying for a shotgun certificate, it was out of necessity. Little did she realise how much it would cost her, financially and professionally, with real career-ending allegations made against her by the police.
It's taken such a massive chunk from our lives, it's shocking.
By day, Sandy is a physiotherapist. Every other waking hour she spends looking after her livestock with husband, Sonny, on their small holding in Nottinghamshire. They have about 120 breeding ewes, and they did have 50 organic chickens.
Commercially viable for you?
They were selling the eggs to farm shops, butchers, and to members of the public, and they were selling very, very well at a very good price.
Okay, so the fox managed to get in where then? Because it looks pretty enclosed. Were they free range, were they?
They're free range, yeah. During the day they're out, at night they come in and they stay in the coop, and it was during the day where the fox had come and massacred them.
Sandy wanted to be able to protect her animals. Taking advice, she applied for a shotgun certificate. It would mean she could control foxes in and around the paddocks near her house. She took it seriously, getting lessons from top GB shot and coach Becky Mackenzie.
So how I met Becky was, she was a patient of mine. She was giving me consent to talk about her at this interview.
Okay.
Yeah, she was a patient of mine, and I told her that I owned a farm and I'd been considering some lessons. And yeah, she was my instructor, and most weekends we went out shooting. She was really good, and she was the one who told me what kind of gun to buy and the weight and whatever else.
All was going well after a visit from Nottinghamshire Police, where among the usual questioning and cabinet checks, Sandy explained there was an ongoing neighbour dispute. Police granted her a shotgun certificate in November 2022. She didn't buy a gun because she housed her animals over winter. She got back into her shooting, resuming lessons with Becky, only to be contacted in June 2023 by Nottinghamshire Police, asking to return her certificate over further concerns about the neighbour dispute. 4 months later, following a suitability review, she received a revocation letter.
It was revoked on grounds that I was dishonest, reckless. I portrayed antisocial behaviour.
That was the reason you lost your licence. You had to...
Yes, I was
Can
caught.
you read out what it says?
Yeah, so there is evidence of dishonesty, recklessness, abuse, aggressive, antisocial or threatening behaviour from yourself.
Crikey.
Which was news to me because I didn't know I was any of them, to be fair. So that was an absolute shock when I received the letter and the fact my licence was revoked. I did raise this up with the inspector who actually revoked it. The response I got wasn't great, shall I say.
Sandy had 21 days to appeal. She took legal advice after her shooting organisation declined to get involved, and she appointed a solicitor who was confident she would win and offered to work pro bono. In the meantime, Sandy received a phone call from a withheld number at her surgery. This set off another chain of events.
And I was at work one day with a patient, expecting a phone call from a GP. My patient was fully aware that I would have to take this call in the room, and I was going to walk out of the room to have this call in private. And it was actually the inspector who actually called me in regards to a complaint that I lodged against her. I did tell her at the end of the phone call that the phone call was being listened to by a patient of mine, to which the inspector raised her voice, said that I had no right to do that, and then she hung up on me.
The police officer made an official complaint to Sandy's professional body, the Health and Care Professionals Council. Then a second, more outrageous accusation went to the HCPC. The officer reported she had concerns Sandy was treating patients at home with guns close by. Pretty tricky when Sandy had no certificate, no guns, and no clients were treated at her home.
When the second allegation came forward of me holding weapons at home, firstly, I've never treated patients at my home address, and I've got many patients who gave witness statements to say they've never attended my home. And secondly, I had no weapons at home because I never owned a registered gun. So the biggest concern for me was if this inspector had a duty of care to members of the public, what she should have done was sent out armed response, because firstly, she would have known the weapons weren't registered, and secondly, the fact I was treating patients in a room with weapons would have been highly concerning. But thank God, no armed response actually arrived or turned up to my property, but instead I had a second allegation made against me, and the HCPC had to investigate into that. So again, that went on for months. Although it's another baseless allegation, it was very distressing for me and my husband because my physio career pays for the farm.
Back to the revocation appeal, and in May 2024, Sandy and her barrister attended a directions hearing. Sandy says the judge was not impressed with the police's evidence.
She was waving it like a fan, saying that there was no evidence in the evidence bundle, and she asked the advocate for Nottinghamshire Police to go back and supply myself and her an evidence bundle with evidence in it.
After delays, the court set the appeal hearing for the 12th and 13th of December 2024. Sandy says witnesses weren't able to attend earlier dates, extending her time without a shotgun. Just days before her appearance in court, Sandy had a letter from the police. It said she can have her certificate back, but with conditions.
I get an email out the blue one evening asking me if I can vacate the 2-day hearing, and my licence will be reinstated. However, there would be a condition on it, and the condition is that I couldn't store guns at home. They'd have to be stored off-site. I could bring them home and use them, but then that day they would have to go back to where they were stored. That was unfounded because I can't run a farm without a gun on site. If there's a fox outside, how am I supposed to deal with a fox?
Not having guns on site was impractical, plus storage is yet another expense. Since the revocation, she had lost all her chickens in 3 fox attacks, and with it, her organic egg business. So Sandy ploughed on and continued with the appeal, only to discover there is an expensive snag.
The judge was concerned, to say the least, why my licence was revoked in the first place. And then he was also concerned to why a condition's been put on the gun when the gun's actually needed for the farm. It's a tool. And it came to light, which we weren't aware of, that the condition cannot be appealed unless it's taken to High Court.
That's really interesting. I didn't realise that was a situation. So just explain that for me, please, because I think people will find that really interesting.
Yes. So if a condition is put on your licence by Nottinghamshire Police, especially this condition, where it states that your guns cannot be stored at home, it can only be appealed by High Court, which will financially, we just didn't have the money to do that. I had to accept the condition. I had no choice. Otherwise I wouldn't have got my licence back. So my licence was returned with the condition on the licence that I couldn't store my guns at home. I had to find somewhere to store my gun, and I have got some really good farmer friends. The only problem is they live about 40 minutes away from me. And the second thing is they're not always there. So if I needed the gun at that time, if they weren't, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So I decided to contact a few shooting grounds locally to see if they can store my gun, and there was one 20 minutes away from me, and they were happy to take the gun. The only problem is if I'm right, they're closed on Wednesdays and they close at 4 during the week.
It's all right, foxes don't come on Wednesday.
Yeah. Yeah.
With her shotgun certificate back in her hands, Sandy eventually buys her shotguns in March 2025. We meet her just before at the Fieldsports Channel stand at the British Shooting Show.
To be fair, I never knew you guys existed. When I got there to see you guys, it was quite nice, and like I said, you guys were so friendly, so warming and welcoming, and I thought it feels right to join up. And so I did, and then Layla came into my life. She's supported us. She's been so good, very efficient, very smart, very intelligent.
At this point, Sandy still can't bring herself to start rebuilding her flock of organic layers. In early 2025, she and Sonny are focusing on lambing, only to have yet another call from Nottinghamshire Police. This time, 2 officers arrive at their gate at 9 o'clock at night, hand-delivering a letter telling them to attend a voluntary interview or risk arrest.
The 2 officers came to our house 3 times within 12 days. That included a call late at night at 4 minutes past 9 to hand deliver a letter. The letter stated that if me and my husband didn't turn up to a voluntary interview, we would be arrested. The letter was given to us in front of a minor, which we found highly inappropriate.
She attended the police station on the 30th of April 2025, and 3 officers interviewed her. She answered all the questions put to her about new allegations of harassment. Separately, Sonny had to do the same. At the end of the interview, Sandy was asked to surrender her certificate until police completed their investigation. She did, and they handed her an envelope. To her shock, it was another revocation letter signed on the 29th of April, the day before the interview.
I cried. Once I pulled myself together, I had another read of the letter, only to realise that the letter was dated the date before the interview. So obviously they predetermined the decision to revoke my licence before I even gave my chance to actually say anything. I then contacted the farm where my guns are stored, asked them if they heard anything, and they had a phone call from Nottinghamshire Police the day before the interview stating that my licence was revoked and they wouldn't give my guns back to me. So I carried on.
You've been told before you've been told?
Yes. So the next day I'm at work and I get quite a few missed calls from the same number, and then I get a text message, and it's the officer who was in the interview who gave me the letter stating that it was an admin error. The licence hasn't been revoked, it is under voluntary surrender, and that after their investigation they will review the case. He told me to shred the letter. The solicitor was told to rip it up and bin it. As an official letter, I just thought that was quite strange. I've still got a copy of the letter and I will retain it in case I do actually need it at some point.
So, where are we now? Well, Sandy has held a shotgun certificate for 11 months, and yet the police have had it for 24. She has been fully cleared by the HCPC and the case is closed. Police have investigated and dismissed multiple accusations of harassment against her.
Moving forwards, I just want people to leave us alone. Let us progress. Every single weekend, I was sitting in the office doing legal paperwork and defending ourselves. And it's taken such a massive chunk from our lives, it's shocking.
Can I ask about Layla and what involvement she's had?
She got very involved, asked me to send her the evidence, asked me to do a acro. I got my SAR requests, my subject access requests from all that I needed to get, sent them over to Layla, and Layla introduced me to you, David. And you're sitting in our kitchen interviewing me.
She is still waiting for her suitability review to get the one thing she needs, her shotgun, because all she wants to do is build a small, sustainable farming enterprise with the ability to control predators. Thanks, Sandy. We asked Nottinghamshire Police for a statement. They sent us this. A spokesperson for Nottinghamshire Police said, "We are responsible for issuing firearm and shotgun certificates under statutory guidance from the Home Office. As the public would expect, this is a responsibility we take extremely seriously. A review into this particular licence is ongoing and will be decided once we are satisfied that all available evidence has been reviewed." Have you had problems like this? Please leave comments below. Now, depending on when you are watching this, we are on the final countdown for November's prize deadline this Sunday, 8 p.m, less than 40% sold. Among the prizes is a Hike Micro Lynx LH19 2.0. Here is Paul Hodson from Hike Micro.
Hi guys, Paul from Hike Micro UK and Ireland. Lynx 2.0 is available in the Fieldsports Channel competition. Brilliant bit of kit, compact, neat, tidy, extremely good battery life of 7 hours plus. Definitely worth an enter. Get your entries in now. Thanks very much, guys.
Thanks, Paul. And yes, the Chinese insist you do pronounce it Hike Micro. Total prize pot is £2,300 and tickets start at 99p. Visit fieldsportscompetitions.co.uk. And that's it for this week. If you haven't done so already, please visit our website, fieldsportschannel.tv, where you can click to like us on Facebook and on Instagram. You can follow us on X and TikTok. You can subscribe to us on YouTube, or pop your email address into our weekly newsletter box and we'll contact you about this show. Fieldsports Britain, it's at 7 p.m. UK time every Wednesday. And this has been Fieldsports Britain. Good hunting, good shooting, good fishing, and goodbye.